Hello witches, welcome back to the channel. Once again, this is xoxo, and for this video I just sort of want to share some dreams I have, astral travel dreams, or one of them is an astral travel dream and another one is just like probably an encoded message from Hecate, and one of the ways that she does that. So first, I'm just going to go into the astral travel dream. So this one's a little bit crazy. It's sort of weird how it started and all of that. But I'm just going to share it because I think it's interesting. And it definitely felt like an astral travel than just a random dream. And it felt like there was something in it that I was supposed to be learning as well. So I am just going to go ahead and share that. So in this dream, and it felt like it started off as a dream and then it transitioned into a travel, if you've ever experienced that before. So it started off where I was in a city, and there was some sort of, something was going on, like a big commotion. There may have been a war or a battle that was going on, it felt like. Not immediately where I was in the city, but in the same city though, like just further away from where I was. And I feel like I was trying to find people that were walking the street and guide them back to a certain location that was safe. And so I was sort of not going too far from the safe location, but I was like going out to the streets a little bit and looking for people and then bringing them back there. And one of the times when I went out, I saw a little girl, and she was obviously she was scared, and she was like, seemed like she was trying to go somewhere or something. So I found her and I was like, look, come back with me, we have a safe space for now, and you're gonna be okay and all of that. And she was very stressed out because she wanted to go to her house, and she said that her mother was there. She just wanted to get back to her mother, so she wouldn't come with me. So I ended up just kind of following her. She went down the street a little bit and turned the corner and went down this like, I don't know what you would call it, sort of, I guess, you know, those like stairways that go down to like the basement, but in a city. It was kind of like that, under a building. And just as we were turning the corner to go down those stairs to, I guess, the apartment or whatever where this girl and her mother lived, there was like a truck with soldiers in it or something coming by, and it was like the people we were trying to avoid. So we like barely narrowly missed them by running down the stairs and going into this girl's house. And as soon as we got in there, I could see like something was wrong. Everything was sort of like thrown around and messed up and broken, and I was like, this is not good. This girl's mother is probably dead. So that was my immediate thoughts. So I immediately got more protective, and I was like, you need to stay beside me while we're looking through here. So we were doing that, and I could hear a little bit of a commotion in the other room. And when you first walk in the house, there was like a hallway, and then when you go to the right, well, actually, when you walk into the house, there's a hallway, and immediately to the right, like the wall of that hallway, was like a kitchen bar, and you would have to like walk and then go around, and then the kitchen was on the other side of that bar. And then on the other side of the hallway, there was another hall going this way to another room. And at the end of the hallway going that way, there was like the living room area or something. And then it would go up like a few stairs to another room or something. However, the entire part of the scene was mainly just in the hallway and in the kitchen. So what happened is we heard the noises coming from the living room up those stairs to the side, like another room that was over there, so we couldn't physically see it, but we could hear it. And like I said, I just knew something was wrong. So I hurried up and rushed the little girl around that kitchen bar island thing to the other side. So we were in the kitchen, but we were kind of hiding. And so the mother comes into view out of the other room, and she was really messed up. Like, I don't know if it was like, she was like zombie-like. She looked like a walking corpse with like glowing eyes and stuff. And so I hit the girl and I was like, no, don't call out to her or anything. This is not okay. And so the mother walked in the hallway on the other side of the bar from which we were hiding behind. And she started to go the other way down the other hall to the other room. And I don't remember it. Either I accidentally made a noise or the girl did. And so the mother turned back around and she came towards us again. But she seemed very unaware, almost like she couldn't physically see, but she was only drawn to sound. So we were able to just be quiet to avoid her again. So there was a kitchen bar, like I said. There was cabinets over the majority of it, like an island bar, and then there was like a specific spot in it where there was no cabinets, and instead there was like a window thing that you could open and shut, and it had like foggy glass as it was almost like a cabinet door that you could just open and shut like that. So as the mother was approaching, I quickly shut that. And me and the little girl were just like there staring, like, is she gonna see us or not? But it seemed like she couldn't see. She could only more so locate you by sounds. So she was very zombie-like, and just sort of like stumbling around very slowly and stuff like that. So essentially, she ended up leaving, walking to the other room, and I quickly grabbed the little girl and we ran out of the house. And I got her back to that safe place that I was talking about. So that is what happened with that whole part of the dream thing. And like I said, that part felt like a dream more so than a travel, but it led into this travel because in the next phase of this dream, I went somewhere else. It almost kind of felt like it was in the same city, but I like left that safe house area behind with all the people in it, and I went somewhere else. And in this location, there were a bunch of, there was like a family of these people, but as I was like further getting into this dream / travel, I started to realize, you know, these were not normal humans, they were vampires. And it was nothing like how vampires are portrayed in movies or anything like that. They were like magical, like almost like witches, but they were also vampiric, like they drained energy from people and life force to feed. and drank blood, but they were also as well cannibals. Like they would eat humans as well. Well, I don't know if I would call them cannibals because they weren't human themselves, but they were eating humans and stuff like that, and also getting blood that way because they were just eating humans like raw. But they also did not seem like they were evil, predatory, in the sense like I feel like they could just walk down the street any given day and you would never know that they were a vampire. They did not have like a predatory mindset continuously, is my point. They basically only just, ate humans like for their meals when they had to. It didn't seem like they were evil in the regard of just mindlessly evil. You know what I mean? Like they weren't portrayed like, or they weren't how, vampires are portrayed. So, and they were like a family. And they looked normal. They didn't look scary or anything. They just looked like normal human beings. There was children, a mother and a father. There was like aunts and uncles. Like it was like a huge, large, extended family. And several sisters. So I was for some reason seeing these people and they were sort of preparing for something that was going on. Like there was people hunting them or something like that, or people were going to be coming to hunt them. So they were getting prepared to escape. They weren't even gonna like fight or anything, which they probably could have very easily, but they instead were just going to be escaping and hiding or something like that. So we were in some sort of city setting, but once again we were in a building that had like a basement area, but as these people went down into their basement, there was like tunnels and stuff, and they kept going like deeper down into the earth, into these tunnels, which eventually led to a large, very large cavern or cave. And they all gathered there. At first I did not realize it was a large cavern because it was very dark with dirt floors, and you could only see so far in front of you when we first went in there. So I didn't realize how big it was. I thought it was just like a tunnel, something system to a large basement area. But what happened is these vampires were all gathering down there in like large crowds. Like there must have been other basements throughout this city that all tunneled and networked into this larger cavernous area, because there was so many people down there. Like just had to have been thousands of these vampires. And so what I was witnessing was they all gathered here in this basement area with the dirt floors, and it was like pitch dark in there pretty much. And they were sort of like talking amongst themselves and everything, but there were so many that it was like a murmur of just voices and talking in large quantities. And they were all getting prepared to hide. So and sort of just talking amongst themselves. They didn't seem overly fearful or concerned as well. Like they just felt like it was like a normal thing, or something that they're used to. So even though it was a very serious situation, they knew that they were going to be hunted, so they had to hide. They also were just like having random conversations during this part. Like they weren't too concerned or fearful, and it just felt like, oh, it's just another time that we have to hide again. How have you been? You know, like it was sort of like that type of energy that I was getting from them, and the conversations they were having. Like there was a specific group that I was just happening to be standing by, and there was a vampire that was in a wheelchair, and she was very wealthy looking, and a couple of other female vampires were talking to her, and they were sort of all joking about how the wealthy vampire's husband was like some sort of someone in politics or in business or something like that. And she was complaining about him not paying enough attention to her because of his work and all of that. And then the other female vampires were like, you know, bitch, shut up, you're wealthy because you're with him. So, you know, it was sort of like lighthearted, just catching up conversation that these vampires were having, even though they were preparing for a very serious thing and very seriously hiding from being hunted and killed. I just felt like it was something that they were used to. So after that little conversation that I saw, then everyone started to quiet down and hush up and started to pay attention to this figure that had entered the room. And this is when I began to realize that this was not just like a basement with a low ceiling or anything. It was like a huge freaking cavern. Like the ceiling had to have been like hundreds of feet in the air from the ground. Like it was a humongous cavern, and it was big enough and large enough to fit thousands of these vampires in it. And I started to see from the perspective of this imposing dark male figure that was like standing way up at the top of the cavern looking down to the bottom. And I was kind of seeing like over his shoulder, and I never really saw who he was or his face or anything because I only saw him from behind and silhouetted beneath the scene that was unfolding below. And from this height, all of the thousands of vampires that were down there looked like ants because it was so high up. And also it was like they were like swarming around. It looked like in different like patterns and stuff. It almost kind of reminded me of like those birds that fly in like a big flock and they're all like moving in weird patterns together. That is kind of what it was like, but it was, you know, the vampires, and they were just on the ground, but they were moving around like that, almost like they had a hive mind or something at the same time. So this male vampire figure, I felt like he was like a Dracula figure, like he was the master over all of the other vampires that were down there, and he was like overlooking this organized thing of getting them all there and hiding them. So, like I said, when he entered the room, it's like they all quieted down in their personal conversations, and they were all like looking up to him. He said something like a small like speech, like something like I really can't remember word for word, but he mentioned something about like prepare to hide yourselves, and he said something about everyone will be hidden and put to rest except for some like familiars or something like that. And when he said that, there was a bunch of black birds, like crows or ravens or something, that just emerged out from the dirt floor and started to fly around. Once again, like in that pattern movement stuff above the vampires. And then they all like flew out of the cave together and left. And also too, at that point, all of the vampires kneeled, almost like they just kneeled down in the dirt on the ground, like complete, like, you know how Muslims pray? They kneeled down like that, like onto the ground. And this Dracula figure sort of started to project his energy down to them, and I feel like it like bled out from him, the energy, the magic, whatever it was. It's like it bled out from him, seeped into the cavern, whatever like overlook he was standing on. It went into the stone and bled down it all the way down to the dirt floor, and then it began to spread towards all of the vampires that were standing there. And that's when I actually saw the energy, because I was like seeing it from the perspective as if I was standing there with the vampires, whatever, but it's like I was facing towards them as they were all facing upward towards the Dracula figure. And I could see the energy going through the dirt, and it was like, it was black colored energy, and it looked like almost like veins going through the dirt of this black energy, and it was going to each vampire in like a little confined tube of like a bunch of veins and tendriling energy spreading, almost like how vines grow, you know, think something like that. Just think of like veins or vines all tangled together. But I was watching it like progress and grow towards the vampires, and the ones that were immediately in front of me are the ones I was focusing on. And like I said, it's like they were on the ground in a complete like submissive bowing stance, and they were putting their faces and their mouth directly to the dirt as well, and inhaling, like sucking in, and the veins of dark energy were stopping right where their mouths were touching the dirt. So it's like they were drinking in that energy, and they just kept doing that, taking it in. And as they did that, the dirt, it was like sandy dirt almost, started to bury them. Like it would rise up and start to bury them under the dirt. And I guess that was their technique of hiding. Like they all were just gathered into this cave, and then they were just going to bury themselves beneath the dirt to be hidden and to be safe for however long it took, until whatever was hunting them either came through there and just left because they didn't find anything or whatever. That's what it seemed like was going on. So that is what happened. And however, one of the female vampires, of which I had started this dream with, which was part of that family, she was down on the ground and she was sucking the energy in. I started to see the dirt rise up to start to bury her, but she stopped for some reason, and she looked to one of the entrances to the cave, and it's like something distracted her from continuing the ritual or whatever sort of magic that they were doing to hide themselves. Not exactly sure. But the other vampires quickly were like, you know, got her attention back, and they were like, come on, you need to continue doing this. And so basically that is what happened in that dream. And by the end of it, they were all completely just buried in this loose sandy dirt. And sort of the Dracula figure just overlooked this whole process, watching. And I don't know what he did, but he did not bury himself there at all. He just oversaw the process of it and sent those familiars out. So I don't know why I saw that, or why I had an astral journey to this place to witness this, but I just thought it was very interesting, and it really did feel like an astral journey. It did not feel like a regular dream. I felt like I was being shown this. Like, I've said this many times before, but one of the main ways that I know the difference between a dream or an astral journey, astral travel, is because usually I'll feel like I'm being shown something. When it's an astral travel, I'll feel like Hecate's presence, just like sort of with me, overlooking from like behind me. It's like she takes me and she places me into these different areas and destinations. Like she wants me to see or witness what's going on there. And that is what I felt in this dream. That's why I know it was more so of a travel. I could feel her presence, and I could feel that I was being shown this for some reason. So I don't know why yet, but that is what I was feeling, and I figured I would just come on and share that with you all, just because it's interesting. And maybe you have had some kind of travel and experienced these beings, or some kind of vampire beings, and they were different from how they're portrayed in popular media and stuff. If you have, please leave me a comment below and let me know, or if this resonates with you in any way or makes you think of something, let me know below, because I would like to understand this a little bit more better as well myself. So that was that one. Now the next one I want to share, sort of, I feel, is not as serious. I don't know. Maybe it is though, because I do feel the need to share it. So, as you know from my past videos and from my posts on Facebook and stuff like that, where I talk about this, from my other past video on how Hecate rules fate, and all of that. I talk about this many other times as well, but I think that was the first time I mentioned it in that video. But basically, you know, Hecate inspires people with her messages, and they may not even realize that that is what's happening. I'm sorry that my voice keeps going raspy. But that's what the word inspiration means. If you look back to the roots of that word, it means inspirited. It means that a spirit has implanted a thought or an emotion or an idea into you. That's what inspiration really is. To get you to act on it. So that's one of the main ways that all spirits communicate to us. So it is a form of spirit communication. But like I said, most people don't even realize that that's what's happening. They think that they just got an idea theirself, or an idea just came to them theirself, or whatever, what have you. But really, many times, this is one of the ways that spirits communicate to us. And Hecate for sure does this, probably more so than any other spirit, because it is one of the main ways that she gets her will to manifest in the physical world. So one of the ways that she uses this is to inspire people who make movies and TV shows and music videos, and who write books, and just people who put out messages already, or put out media to a large audience. She inspires these people with her messages so that her messages will get put out to the masses. So a lot of sort of mystical themed content in media a lot of times will be encoded with Hecate's messages in it. So with that, and I have made posts about this on Facebook already, and a lot of times I will share with you all different oracles and messages that Hecate is telling me directly, and it's certain things, and then she tells me, like, this is something that she's going to be putting and inspiring for people to include in TV shows and stuff like that as well. So she does tell me first a lot of the times, and I do tell the people who follow my oracles and who pay attention to my posts and things like that well ahead of the time. And also, I give you guys a heads up that it will be being portrayed in movies and TV shows and stuff coming up in the future, and it happens. So I feel like this might be one of those situations as well, which I'm about to share here from another dream that I had last night. However, I'm not sure of the meaning of this one. So I'm not exactly sure like what it means, but I feel like this was definitely one of those cases, and so I'm going to just share it with you all. Maybe the meaning will be revealed later. Okay, so in this dream, I was meeting some characters from Game of Thrones, and I met Arya, and we were just talking about something. I can't really remember that part, but it's just how the dream started, and then we went to some sort of formal, like, gathering or something. Hold on, let me try to remember the exact word this one because I don't want to say it wrong. Okay, yeah, so I met with her, and then we were going somewhere. It was like raining really badly. We went from like one building across this courtyard area into another building, and it was like really like raining really bad outside. It was like really muddy and sort of kind of flooding the grounds a little bit. As we crossed to this other building, and there was like some sort of ball or party or just some sort or form of formal gathering going on in there, and there was a stage area. To be honest, this area reminded me of like a sort of like a, what are they called? What are those called? A cafetorium, is that the right word? It's like a cafeteria, but also with a stage in it, because it also doubles as an auditorium, something like that. That is sort of what this area reminded me of, because it was like there was like tables set up where people could sit, but then there was also a portion that was like up on a stage or just an uplifted area to one end. So on that stage there was a throne. There was actually two thrones sat side by side, and Daenerys was on one of the thrones, and there was someone sitting beside her, but I could not tell who it was because I didn't really pay attention to that. I was sort of fangirling in this dream, obviously. It's the first time that I ever had a dream about meeting any of the Game of Thrones characters or whatever. So I do not know if you just heard. My door just popped right now. My door where I have my Hecate baby totally just popped. Really loudly. But anyway, but that's probably a sign that she wants me to share this. But I just don't understand what is the meaning of this one though, or why, as of yet. Maybe that will come clear later, but basically I've seen Daenerys and someone else sitting on the thrones that were on the stage, in the center of the stage. There was another pair of thrones to the side, and then another pair of thrones to that side, but also both on the stage. There might have been more than just 3 pairs of thrones, but basically because I didn't really count them consciously or anything. Like I said, I was kind of fangirling throughout this dream, because it's almost like I was accompanying Arya the whole time through this process and going into this place. So I just couldn't get over that. I was standing beside her and then seeing Daenerys on the stage as well. I mean, I really was fangirling, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, I was like curious of like what is going on here. Like, this is so weird. So like I said, I saw the stage. There was like different sets of thrones, 2 by 2 by 2. But at the same time also, on the regular floor ground level, there was a couple pairs of thrones there as well. So that was interesting. And there was different people, pairs of people sitting on all of these thrones. But definitely in the one that was in the center of the stage, Daenerys was sitting there. She was wearing a white dress as well. And I almost want to say, I don't even think she was wearing a crown either, which that's also interesting. Anyway, so it was like some sort of celebration, it felt like almost was going on. And then at some point, then I was sitting down beside, is it still Arya at this point? I can't remember who I was sitting beside. I was sitting beside somebody. I think I was on a throne, one of these pairs of thrones that was sitting on the floor level. I was sitting there, and there was someone sitting beside me, a female. I don't know who it was. I want to say it may have been Lady Brienne, I'm not sure. I think it was her, 'cause I think I remember blonde hair. But anyway, there was some sort of discussion going on about naming someone as the Queen of the North, or something like that. I feel like someone, I don't know, it was like some kind of discussion was going on about, I think naming Santa as the Queen of the North, which I thought was curious. And then I think that there was some sort of mention of something about the Queen of the South. So I feel like what this dream, and that pretty much is the way that the dream ended. Like, we were in there, in that area, there was all the thrones everywhere. There was just a discussion going on, and then the dream just sort of ended with that. So it wasn't really too much detail or talking, but the feeling that I got from the little bit of dialogue that was occurring and just my own analyzing of it was, you know, that there was going to be different kings and queens of these different areas. Like, I kind of have thought that thought before. Like, I am a huge fan of Game of Thrones. So of course I have my own theories and stuff sometimes about the show and all of that. And one of my theories for like the past, probably since like the last season, because of the way there's like specific times when it is mentioned and then reiterated, that Daenerys wants to break the will of the Game of Thrones and of the different houses and all of that. One of my theories has been that there will not just be one king or queen over the entire 7 kingdoms or whatever, but that there will be like a huge twist, and instead the kingdoms will all just be broken up. They'll be allies with each other, but they'll be broken up and separately ruled over by their own king or queen or something like that. That has kind of been a theory of mine. But definitely in this dream, that is also the feeling that I got, that they were somehow choosing different kings and queens to sit on these different thrones. However, the only thing, like I said, that was really mentioned was something about naming or choosing a queen of the North, I think, and a queen of the South. So maybe as well, this could have some kind of meaning, like, you know, maybe maybe the Iron Throne will just rule over so many kingdoms, and then some of the other ones will like be independent but allies, instead of them all being divided up. I'm not sure. And like I said, I'm not sure why I got this dream. Like, I don't know what the meaning could be or what messages Hecate could be encoding in this. But I thought that that was definitely something that she was also probably showing me, because I know that she does put her messages in that show sometimes as well. So there could be some kind of encoded meaning to that. Maybe it'll be more clear to you all than it is to me right now when I'm talking about it. So if you have any ideas or something from this, please leave that in the comments below as well. But definitely, I thought that that was something that she also wanted me to share as well. So I think that's going to be all for this video. I just wanted to include those dreams and, you know, just share those and see what you guys think. If, like I said, if you have any ideas, or if it matches with any insider messages that you've been getting or anything like that, please leave that in the comments below. And, you know, just share in the Gnosis. I will be back for more videos coming up. I didn't get a chance to do a Walpurgis night tarot reading for the channel. I was very busy. We had the full moon. I was very busy during that period, and then leading into Walpurgis night, I had a lot of client work and stuff, so I've been super busy the past few weeks with client work and other things going on, but I will be getting back to doing more reading videos as well coming up. So I'll probably get one done this weekend for the weekly reading for next week, for sure. And I will also be back to do some more videos because I have some requests from you all between Facebook and comments and stuff. I do have some requests to cover, and I do have some videos that I just have planned myself, so I'll be looking forward to getting all of that done as well, and see you on the next videos. Until next time, thank you for watching. Hail to the witches, hail Hecate, and blessed be.